Can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Can people hear me? Okay. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Elizabeth. Um, I guess we have 10 minutes to start. We are trying to test everything. We are live on YouTube. Encourage people to join in. We have so far 12 participants. I will hand over to Diana to have the room more lively, and we start. Lutaya is not yet here. I don't know where he is, but we really need him to get online. Testing 1 2. Can you hear me? YouTubers, can you hear me? Everybody on YouTube, can you hear me? Okay, Godfrey is online. Lutaya is around. Okay. God. Mm, okay, they can hear us via YouTube clearly. Uh, Let me ask. Lutaya is not yet here. I also hope the visuals are okay. I hope the visuals are okay on YouTube. Can somebody check? Testing 1 2. Can you hear me? YouTubers, can you hear me? Everybody on YouTube, can you
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you, Godfrey.
Okay. So I don't know, should we start? All right. My name is Godfrey, and I'm a speaker for UC Law Society. I want to take this opportunity to welcome everyone of you on board. I want to take this opportunity to appreciate all the participants, our guests that have joined us today. Not forgetting my great appreciation to Stadel Advocates and Council Bernardo Udo, President East Africa Law Society. I want to thank the UC Law Society President and entire cabinet for pulling this out. It has been your contribution, your efforts that we can have this event. I want to thank our guests today. It is because of your success that we can have this. Basically, if it weren't for your hard work, we couldn't be having this online session to encourage us that are still pursuing the same dream. Thank you so much for your motivation. Thank you so much for the time that you've given to us. Council Gloria Wanyezi, Council Derek Chisto, Council Gidong Martin, Council Ayewa Zibwe Ediga, and Council Mananala Don. Council Mwase Alan, thank you so much. We are extremely humbled. May God bless you. I want to take this opportunity to invite the moderator today. The moderator for our event is Madam Diana Nagadia. She's a class representative for 4th year. She's also the Attorney General in the Guild office, the Guild government, and she's also serving as an academician in the Honors College. Madam Nagadia, can please take over? Thank you so much.
Being heard.
Diana, please speak up. Speak up, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Madam Diana, we can hear you now.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and the UC Law Society at large for considering me worthy to moderate today's conversation. A good afternoon to you all. I would like to welcome everyone and thank you all for joining us today. My name is Nagadia Diana Maria Angel. I am a learner of the law at Uganda Christian University. Currently, I serve as the Attorney General to the Guild Government, and I am a class representative. I am super excited and extremely excited about all the amazing conversations we are to have today. I'm extremely passionate about the law, and I hope to enroll to the back course in the near future. I welcome all of you for joining us for today's conversation, how I made it through the back course, a conversation with the best from LDC. This conversation has been organized by the UCU Law Society, and we are grateful for that. Many of us could have heard a lot about LDC, many stereotypes. We've heard so much from our predecessors, and today we are to hear from the horse's mouth all about the back horse. Many of us are actually aware that the law market is saturated with very many law students who have completed their degrees, but are unable to secure positions in law firms and different chambers. Therefore, a postgraduate diploma appears to be an impressive qualification, which all of us have to add to our belts. And it's a qualification that will enable us to be admitted to practice the law in Uganda. We are therefore privileged to get plausible information from the creme de la creme of the academic year 2019-2020. And congratulations are in order for those people who happen to be our panelists today. They are Miss Gloria Wanyenze, Mr. Irazibwe Edgar, Mr. Martin Gidongo, Mr. Alan Mwase. We shall also hear from Mr. Derek Chizito and Mr. Donald Ananura. We thank you so much, panelists, for joining us today, and your willingness to be part of this conversation is well appreciated. Before we get started, I would like to go over a few items that will help us participate in today's event. Please remember to mute your microphone when you're not speaking. Then also you can join the conversation live on Facebook and Twitter. Look out for the UCU Law Society pages as well as YouTube. Join us on Twitter using the hashtag LDC Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. You'll have an opportunity to submit questions to the panelists, by typing in the chat panel, and this will be addressed during our Q&A. Now, many of us hold different perceptions about LDC, and we are glad to get some inside secrets from somebody who has been there and who has done it. The first panelist today who will tell us more about perceptions and the backwards is Mr. Edgar Ebazibwe. Mr. Edgar Ebazibwe is a corporate and a commercial lawyer. He obtained a postgraduate diploma from LDC, and he received the DPP's award for his excellent academic performance. Mr. Edgar is also a degree holder from UCU, meaning he's one of us, particularly I, who comes from UCU. He emerged the best student for the class of 2019. Now, I had a chance to meet Mr. Edgar. I don't recall the exact day and time, but we met. Mr. Edgar took us under his wing. That was the entry of 2019. And what I know is Mr. Edgar has a high zeal, high zest for Christ and aiding others. So allow me to take this opportunity to welcome you, Mr. Edgar. Mr. Edgar, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, everyone. Good afternoon. I want to take this opportunity to thank God for this opportunity that He has given us. Thank you, Diana, and the UC Law Society with Citadel Advocates for having to organize this. Thank you so much. I am very glad that we are having these conversations because we need to manage perceptions. And so you need to hear from people that have been to where you aspire to be. And for me, I am very grateful that we are having these conversations. And maybe even before I begin, I need to inform you that we have been where you are. I personally served as a member of the Constitutional Reform Commission of the UC Law Society. I served as MP Law, as well as Speaker for the UC Guild government before I enrolled for the bar course. And so where you are right now is a mere process, really. And trust me, you will get through. And so I was asked to make a simple presentation of about 10 minutes on people's perceptions about LDC versus personal exceptions. I have a presentation. I am going to request the host if you can share your screen. Just to confirm with the host, are you able to share the screen? Okay, let me request you to go to slide 2. So I thought I would give you statistics. This is from the press statement issued by the director of the Law Development Center. We have total number of students, 1,574, and you have 145 passing, constituting a percentage of 8.9%. And then you have the those who failed, about 91%. But I just want to clarify something on the usage of the word failing. These about 1,000 students did not fail. And as you'll see the table below, those who were discontinued constituted about 20%. And so the other about 70% did not ideally fail. The other 20% have retakes, or what you call supplementary or special examinations. So it is not right to say that 90% failed, 90% did not fail. Well, they did not make it, but it is wrong to say that they failed. They simply have supplementary or special examinations, which they can do and pass. And so I know that from the news, we've heard that about 90 students have failed, but it's not true. It's not true. It is that about 70% simply have supplementary exams, which they can sit for and pass. And so I thought I would give you those statistics. You have about 0.4% scoring first class, and the table goes on and on. Yeah, so allow me now to go to my next slide on what are people's perceptions. Because there are always stories said, if you've not been in heaven, you've always had mysteries from heaven, that heaven is such a wonderful place to be. If you've never been in hell, then you hear stories, perceptions of people perhaps that have been there. If you've met maybe the queen, people will always have perceptions about who the queen is. about the person of the Queen. And so people will always have their own perceptions. And as said, it is the duty of a prospective BACO student to study people's perceptions and then be able to have your own story. And so I just made a few calls to people just before this presentation, and I was asking both former BACO students and students who had sit for supplementary exams about LDC, and this is what they say. People say that LDC is hard. People say that the institution is conservative. People say that BACO students pass by luck. People say that your undergraduate performance does not matter. People say that LDC is stressful and frustrating. People say that LDC is rigid. And some people say that LDC is an institution just like other institutions. And well, you equally have your own perceptions. But I just need to ask, what informs your perception? Is it fear that informs your perception, or it's just courage? Is it courage to become an advocate that informs your perception, or your perceptions are informed by fear? I know that we don't have a lot of time to cut into this, but at least I've tried to summarize what people say or people's perceptions about LDC. And trust me, these are the perceptions that I would hear before I got into LDC. So you'll understand that all these perceptions are actually wrong. And I don't want you to quote me wrongly, because a perception is something you have not experienced yet. And so you need to experience it for you to get your own true story. Let's now get into managing the perceptions, and that will be my third slide, and I want to specifically focus on that. How do you manage perceptions? We have seen what people say about LDC. It is a prestigious course for any lawyer. Any lawyer looks up to completely successfully finishing the bar course. But how your niche will be in your courage, your determination to manage those particular perspectives. And I just want to say this again, that I have given you the statistics about 8.9 passing, 72 with supplementary exams, and about 20% failing. And I just want to say this again, especially to my colleagues at undergraduate level, that these people with supplementary examinations did not fail within really the rules of passing the bar course, because most of them have about one paper or two which they can always sit for and pass. But when you read the newspapers, they will tell you that 90% have failed, but 90% did not fail. And I really want you to get that very clearly, because with the supplementary examinations, you have 3 years in which you have to do the supplementary examinations, depending on the rules that will be governing passing the bar course at that time. But these 70% did not fail. So how do you manage perceptions? And because we don't have a lot of time, I wanted to point out just 4 pointers. One is to surround yourself with positive people. Well, you'll understand that the moment you surround yourself with negative people, they'll always feed your mind. I have consistently told people that you pass or fail the bar course the moment you get an admission letter. The moment you have the thought that the back course is hard, trust me, it will always be hard for the rest of your life. But there is a way you can always manage that, by surrounding yourself with positive people. And one of the ways how you can surround yourself with positive people is having a consistent discussion group. Now, I have said before that not every gathering of law students is a discussion group. Some are mini lectures, some are mini tutorials, some are mini workshops. But have a discussion group with people that you can easily resonate with people that can easily critique your ideas, with people where you will have an opportunity to have your ideas or to have your thoughts well put and discussed. It's better than having a group of people where you have one person literally saying everything. And so surround yourself with a group of people that are consistent and that will assist your growth in the legal profession. 2, believe in yourself. In other words, work hard. As said, the back course is very prestigious. It's very precious. And because you have limited time, about 1 year, you just want to focus, learn to pay attention to whatever that you are doing. And so you have to work hard, perhaps harder than how you've been working before. Then the second last is learn to tell your own story. You have had all these perceptions about what LDC is, but can you have your own story? Can you face the giants because others have successfully been through? We have about 2,000 lawyers, 2,000 advocates enrolled at the bar. And so that means that you too can make it because, well, we have 2,000 that have made it. And so that means if about 2,000 have been able to face the giants, then that means that you too has a chance to easily pass the bar course. And so, well, there are people's perceptions, but you can equally tell your own story. And you can tell your own story by having a positive mind, by telling your inner person that you can easily pass the bar course. Lastly, prepare your mind to follow the rules. So when you are joining the bar course, they'll give you rules for passing the bar course. And LDC follows each and every rule. If it is attendance, if it is 90%, LDC will follow that. And so make sure that your first canon, your first constitution at LDC are the rules for passing the bar course. Because LDC will always apply them, because it is a contract between you and LDC. Make sure that you read those particular rules. If the rules say you must attend 90%, make sure that you attend, because the moment you do not attend, you'll be discontinued. And the rule is as easy as that. If the rule says that you have to score 50%, then struggle as much as possible and make sure that you score the 50%. So you must, and I know that the rules in our undergraduate institutions are not really so much followed, but you must make sure that the moment you are to the bar course, you follow the rules at the dot. I have my last advice, or my last pointer. I could request the person sliding to get to the next. So here, I really just want to ask you, and you can equally ask your inner person, what if you just believe? What if you just believe that you'll pass the bar course? When I got admitted at the bar course, I had my roommate called Gaudius, and many of you could know him. We made an agreement that we need to pass the bar course in real time. and we accepted to believe that we shall pass. And I'm glad that my roommate passed with a second class upper. And so it is not a coincidence that we did. It is because we believe that we are going to pass. And it is the same thing that Jesus advises or teaches in Matthew chapter 6, verse 26. And he says that, look at the birds in the air. They do not sow or reap or gather into barns, and yet the Heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they are? And so you have to believe that with all these things that I've stated, the moment you tell your inner person that you must pass with the hard work, then I believe that you will. I know that we don't have a lot of time, perhaps I've overstretched this, but that is my advice. I'm going to request the president share the presentation with all of you. But my last pointer is believe that you will pass and you will make it. And LDC is an institution that is meant to teach us, that is meant to prepare us for the future. And so you do not need to worry. You have to manage people's perceptions, but also tell your own story that you indeed you'll equally make it. Thank you.
I want to compliment you, Mr. And to compliment your speech, Mr. Edgar. It is relevant to our career as advocates in the making. I hope everyone can hear us. I'm thanking you all for joining once again. You can catch us live on YouTube and Facebook. Follow the Uganda Christian University Law Society pages. And also join us on Twitter using the hashtag LDC Talk. Thank you, Mr. Edgar, for your speech. What we should all pick from this is we should be careful on what shapes our perception. Let us be in position to manage our perceptions, as this is where our niche lies. We should also prepare our minds to abide by the rules at the back horse. Thank you, Mr. Edgar. At this juncture, joining us is a super woman and an amazing visionary, Miss Gloria Wanyenze. Miss Gloria is a legal trainee at Crystal Advocate. She is a graduate from LDC with a postgraduate diploma in legal practice. She emerged the best in trial advocacy. Miss Gloria is a UCU alumni. Today, Miss Gloria will be sharing with us a journey to LDC. I'll take this opportunity to welcome you, Miss Gloria. Kindly share with us.
Hello? 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 Good evening.
Yes, Gloria.
Do you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, thank you so much. So good evening to you all. Thank you so much for the introduction, Diana. I'm so pleased to be here. I cannot thank you enough. And I want to also say thanks to Elizabeth K. Tumwebaze, the president, Uganda Christian Law Society, for organizing such a great opportunity for people to be in position to hear about the back course and ways in which to go through it before they can go there. So today with me, I've prepared a small PowerPoint presentation on how everything is going to run. Now that I do not have so much time, I'm going to request to share the screen. So Diana, are you there? Hello?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, is there a way, provide me a place or an opportunity so I can share the slides and you help me screen share them. Diana, is that possible?
Yes, it is. Host Norman, please help us with that.
Yes, so what avenue, where am I sending the slides to? Can he send me like an email, or can I send them to Elizabeth? Who exactly should I send them to?
It's okay, you may send them to Elizabeth. Please don't share them with the host.
Okay. Just give me a few minutes to do that, and I'll get back immediately.
Okay, Miss Gloria. As we wait for our next panelist to organize the slides, I would like to welcome you once again and thank you for joining us. Today's conversation is how I made it through the bar course, a conversation with the best from LDC. The panelists today happen to be the creme de la creme for the academic year 2019-2020. They are to share with us different things about the bar course. We've already heard from Mr. Edgar, who shared with us about the perceptions we carry to LDC. And from him, we learned that we should actually be careful on what we choose to perceive the bar course to be. We should also be careful on who we choose to be in our discussions, because not every discussion or not every group of law students is actually academic. So we should let's manage our perceptions. And now this can start right from while we are still pursuing our degrees, or as we think about enrolling at the bar course. Thank you so much for joining us. Inform your friends to catch us live on YouTube and Facebook. Tweet and engage with us using the hashtag LDC Talk. Thank you all for joining. So as we wait for Miss Gloria to organize the slides, we shall have an opportunity to send in our questions to the panelists. So if you have any question about the bar course, kindly type it in the chat panel, and our panelists shall be answering those during the Q&A session. This conversation has been organized by the Uganda Christian University Law Society. Thank you, Madam President, and the Society at large for organizing the conversation. Kindly hold on as we wait for the next panelist. As for now, you can engage with us, tweet using the hashtag LDC Talk, join encouragements who are unable to join us via Zoom to join us on YouTube and Facebook using the UC Law Society pages. Thank you once again for joining.
Hello. Hey, Diana.
Yes,
hello.
Ms. Gloria, we can hear you.
Yes, thank you so much. So Liz has the slides and I'm expecting her to share them. I'm still waiting on her.
Okay, I think you may start the presentation as they organize the slides.
Okay, thank you so much. So thank you so much for the opportunity once more. I'm so sorry for the inconveniences, and the slides may take long to come up, but you forgive us for the inconveniences. So Mwenyezi Gloria, recently graduated from Law Development Center, and I am extremely humbled to have graduated or emerged the first in the trial advocacy class. And the topic that I've been assigned to handle today is the journey. And it would be very okay if I handled it concurrently with the slides being shared, but now that they're not yet available, I will start as they come. So when someone talks of a journey, all you could imagine is a trail, a sail, something of the sort. But one thing you need to know about a journey is that LDC, like life, is a journey with complications, with difficulties, with a little up and downs, but it's very achievable and attainable to anyone out there. So whether or not you decide for it to be attainable for you, it's up to you. But the journey is very achievable, very attainable. You just have to be the person that pushes yourself to achieving or attaining it. So one thing you need to know about the journey is that the journey itself is the reward, not the destination. It teaches us so much. It's everything. It's from the journey that we learn tenacity, that we learn how to handle difficulties, how to solve challenges, how to multitask. Because at Law Development Center, in short LDC, you are in a place where you learn a number of subjects at a time. You are doing different categories of subjects at a time, both legal and non-legal. So it teaches you the capacity to multitask. Then you need to know, sorry about my volume, let me increase it. I'm so sorry about you guys who cannot hear me. Allow me some time to increase my volume. So sorry about that. I thought I was being audible enough. Liz, have the slides coming yet? Can we be in position to share? Yes, thank you so much. Okay, help me go to the second slide, please. Second slide, yes, thank you. This is going to enable me have a flow. Thank you so much again. Sorry for the inconveniences. Picking up from where I had stopped, LDC, like life, is a journey of many seasons. There are days that you wake up and you're so fired up to do this, and there are days that you wake up and you do not have so much energy to move on. But one thing about seasons is that they overlap, they change, they keep going on. And with LDC, you need to brace yourself. Like, you need to be in a position where you can handle each and every season. There are seasons where you feel like this is hard, and then there are seasons where you feel like you're achieving things and you're at the top of it. But the beauty about this journey is that it helps you or fires you up to develop a spirit of tenacity, so you can withstand and be in a position where you can stand in each and every season. Then the next thing says the journey is the reward. What do I mean when I say the journey is the reward? The journey is what teaches us to, it's a place that the journey, when I speak of the journey, what am I saying? I mean the day you report or the day you get the admission letter to the back course, and the day, until the day when until the day of graduation. That period is long. Why do I call it the reward? That period is a period that's going to teach you to not give up. It's a period that's going to teach you how to multitask, how you're going to be in position to do category A, category B, and category C subjects. It's a period where you're going to learn to attend 3 discussion groups or more. It's a period of time management, how to manage yourself, how to manage people. I feel like every lawyer out there needs to go through this journey. everyone, whether or not you're going to need or desire to stay or state yourself in a litigious firm, does not matter. Everyone needs to get the skill from LDC because it shapes you. I feel like it prepares you for legal practice. So if you have not faced the journey, you may lack a little bit here and there, in my opinion, in my opinion. So I think whether or not you want to practice, whether or not you want to be in a litigious firm, this experience and the skills that LDC acquaints you with are very necessary to every young lawyer out there. And what am I trying to say about the journey between when you pick the letter, which is the admission letter, and the time up to the time when you graduate from BACOS or you get a diploma in postgraduate legal studies? This is a place, the journey is a place where you draw very many skills that you are going to need in legal practice and in life at large. At the BACOS, you learn how to work under pressure. You learn how to handle failure, because there's times you will do an assessment at the center. There are these exams that are called individual assessments, and they're usually done on Fridays. And the days you do those assessments, and usually they review the assistants or the lecturers. That's how they call them at universities, but at LDC they are called professional assistants. They usually review the assessments immediately you've done them. And sometimes you have misfired. So it teaches you how to handle failure, how to work with it, how to pick yourself up after. Generally, this journey is the reward because it prepares you for legal practice and life afterwards. Then the next thing in the slide says the journey is everything. Why do I say the journey is everything? From the time when you choose to do the BACOS and you apply and get admitted to the time of grad, you are not the same person. There is a lot you learn. There is so much it has to offer. First of all, at undergraduate, I feel like we are acquainted with knowledge, but we do not entirely have the practical bit. Let me say we have the theoretical bit of the law, but LDC goes deep and explains some things that you actually need to know. So that journey does not only shape us for the career we want, but also acquaints us with more knowledge. Then the last thing in my slide says it's a place you draw tenacity, growth, and courage. Between the time of the journey, there is so much that is shaped about you that you require for life and legal practice. And all in all, I can say the journey could be tough, but it is worthwhile. Like, it's everything. It's very necessary. And it's not, this is not to put fear in you, but it is rather to encourage you. Everyone out there, I think this is very achievable, because at the end of the day, the journey polishes you. Like, it's so worth it. I'm going to request the person that's sharing the slides to move on to the next slide, please. Thank you so much. So after sharing about how relevant the journey is, how key it is, how vital it is in legal practice, let me talk about preparation for the journey. How do you prepare for this journey? I'll start with solid foundation. What does this mean? You know, at undergraduate, when we're doing the bachelor course, sometimes we do not take things seriously or do not take the time to learn the basics of the law. But one thing I need to tell you up front is that when you know these things and they're at your fingertips, it's going to be a matter of polishing up at the BACOS. Like, you're not going to require to do much work. All I'm doing is calling upon you people to actually take off time and study and understand the law at undergrad. While you're doing the bachelor's course, please take off time and understand the basics of the law. Get the fundamentals of the different principles so that when you come at the bar course, the journey is easy to move. Like that is a way to prepare for the journey. When you do most of this work while you're still at the bachelor level, it's going to be so easy at LDC. The other thing I need to urge you is to believe in yourself. Most cases, for instance, all you need to do is believe you can do this. You know, whether or not something is attainable to us is up to us to decide. And it's just like my colleague Edgar Ayawaziwe highlighted, perceptions are built in people's minds. I think you can do better with yourself when you believe in yourself. This is a place where people have gone through and excelled, and you will decide whether you also want the same to go for. You can actually excel. So you need to take that step and believe in yourself. Tell yourself you can do this, you can manage. And I think seeing that we are here talking to you about how achievable it is should be something to send a vote of encouragement to you. Then I will talk about attendance. When we get to LDC, I think we need to know how emphasis is put on attendance. Well, the rules for passing the bar course, one of the rules highlights the importance of attendance. You need to attend, you need to be there in these different workshops. The classes are called workshops. You need to attend all the categories of the subjects, not selectively. Then you need to get a discussion group which you are deeply rooted into, people you're free with, people that can explain something to you, people that you do not fear to voice up with. Someone has complained about the volume, and I've tried to increase my volume. I hope you can hear me now. I have increased the volume. I don't know whether you are talking about audibility but I'm trying to be audible. I hope you can hear me now. I was trying to say, get yourself a disc when you get to the bar course or to LDC. Thank you so much for the feedback, Zawede. Thank you. And I was trying to say, when you get to the bar course, get a discussion group that you are free with, where you can voice your ideas without fear to be shunned or looked down onto. Make sure you're among people that understand in case you ask a question, and people that you are free with. So the other thing I would want to talk about is give the course time. You know, when you invest time and effort in something, it always gives back. So when you get to the bar course, do not have divided attention. Like some people want to do this while they're doing the bar course as a side thing. I think you need to give it full attention so that you can give it all your effort, maximum effort. Then the other thing, being a Christian, I'll talk about praying. Like, pray and trust in God. Can we go to the next slide, please? Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you so much. So, thank you so much. This is what I'm going to say as I end, because my time is fast spent. One thing you need to know is the journey is everything, but how it ends depends on how it's sailed. This period between when you join and when you graduate is going to give unto you a number of things. But what it gives to you depends on the effort you put in. You're definitely not going to put in less effort and get more. But when you put in so much, it will determine how the journey is going to end. Because how the journey ends depends on how it's sailed or how it's moved. So when you are very intentional about that journey, you are definitely going to have a nice ending. And all I can say, the journey is everything. It's the reward, it's worth it. Like there are seasons that are going to be hard while they are in there. There are seasons of achievement, but all in all, this is going to be for the better of yourself. Like it's going to better yourself. It's going to give unto more. It's going to sell value onto you. And thank you so much for listening. I'll be here listening in. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for the Uganda Christian Law Society for availing this opportunity for young people out there. And I'm so glad for the invite. I'll be here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Miss Gloria, for sharing with us. We are having a conversation how I made it through LDC. From what Miss Gloria shared with us, it's upon us to decide how we sail through the battles. Because through the journey, we should be able to pick up ourselves when we fall, because the journey is the reward. And from the first two panelists, that is Miss Gloria and Mr. Edgar, by now we should have picked out that we should be prepared to abide by the rules, because attendance of the various course units is a part of the journey. And remember, the journey is the reward. Thank you, Miss Gloria, once again. I take this opportunity to thank you all for joining. You are welcome to this conversation organized by the UCU Law Society. Thank you all for joining in. Catch us live on YouTube, engage with us on Facebook, tweet and share with us, #LDC Talk. Any questions to the panelists, you can type them in the chat and they'll be addressed in the Q&A. Thank you for joining. Thank you for sharing this conversation. So we would like to hear from our next panelist, a man of all seasons, Mr. Derek Chizito. Mr. Derek Chizito is a trained lawyer with expertise in technology and telecommunications, banking and finance capital. Mr. Derek Chizito emerged as the best student. He was among the best students. Mr. Derek emerged as emerged with the best solution at HIIL Kampala Legal Hackathon, that is 2019. Mr. Derek obtained a postgraduate diploma at the bar course, and he's a holder of a degree from Makerere University. Now, Mr. Derek will share with us about motivation. What kind of motivation should we seek while at the bar course? He will share with us what kept him motivated. How did his lamp not burn out? Allow me welcome Mr. Derek Chizito. Continue engaging with us, #LDC Talk. Any questions, type them in the chat. Hope you can all hear us. Welcome, Mr. Derek.
Thank you, Dan. Hope I can be audible.
Yes, you are.
All right, thank you. And thank you for the introduction. I don't think I have to add to that. So like Diana has said, I was asked to have a conversation on motivation at the center, how to avoid the burnout, how to push yourself each day. And yeah, through the 9 months, though with certain occurrences like the pandemic, it could turn into 2 years. But yes, my discussion is supposed to be on motivation. Unfortunately, unlike the earlier presenters or panelists, I didn't prepare a slide, but I believe this is a topic we can go over after the discussion, but that's not possible. But yeah, I'll try my level best to try and probably guide. I don't know. That's a proper phrase on the question of motivation. So to start with, Gloria did mention something about the weekly tests and all that. There are there are issues that are going to put you down at LDC. Constantly, you're going to be facing either challenge, some are personal, some are to do with the back course, some are health related. Of course, those relationships will also face the relationship issues because, well, the bar will take a will take a toll on your relationship at a point X, unless you're able to balance things up. But well, it is possible to have the relationship and everything in place, even while doing the band still excel at it. So there are different things that will. I don't think I'm going to limit my discussion really to what the back course will throw at you, but probably will try to even look at the other societal, the expectation. And so you have those low moments, certain things that will be going on in your personal life. And when you also look at the demanding nature of the back course, you need something every day to keep you moving. There are different ways to get you that can keep you moving. One, but those that we all know that wouldn't recommend. And I don't think abuse of drugs, alcohol, and the like should be your go-to, notwithstanding how hard the situation gets or how hard things hit you. I think it should be something, either value or a goal or a purpose that you live for each day that should be motivating you to, wake up each morning and stick to the schedule set and try to keep moving through the 9 months. So the other thing, you're going to face disappointment, especially when either you have your results or when you do the IS. I don't know if the rules have changed for the subsequent intakes, but for the first term, you really have your IAs peer marked. That means you do the IAs and mark each other. So at times you're going to score 14, yes, 14%, and you're going to feel like for that week you actually may think you put in you gave it your best shot, but well, after the marking, you could have 5, 6, 14. So you're going to have such disappointment. So I think you're putting your best, but the result doesn't seem to be equivalent to the effort you're putting in. Then you're going to have there's a continuous level of uncertainty of you have a weekly target to meet in terms of class attendance. You have target to meet at the end of each term in terms of your class. So there are uncertainties. You're thinking, what happens if this week probably I'm not able to attend this class for whatever reason? So all those are constantly playing your mind, and it's easy for you to either choose to go to seek motivation, which will probably give you that courage in abuse of substance and the like. But I think you should constantly have a value, a purpose for which you look up to, and that should be what motivates you. So in light of all the things that will be going on in your life, and then the demanding nature of the course, certain things have to meet in terms of the rules of passing the back course, there are certain requirements that you must meet each term, each week. How then do you try to ensure that one, you don't have a burnout? Because the course is very demanding, and that is, I think, known to everyone. It's more of judicial notice, but one, it's possible. That is the first thing. You can excel, you can pass, and not just pass, but excel at it. That's what I do believe. So I'll share from my own perspective what kept me motivated, what kept me going, even when the times got tough. And yes, they really got tough. And I'm sure for every backcourse student, there was a point in time when the going was really tough on them. You're either having very little sleep, if any. Of course, that's what days you're trying to balance your life, social life as well. Probably some is affected and the like. But yes, for whatever kind of either issue that someone faced at a particular time, they had to find a way to move on. Like so, for, personally, I had a goal, I had a purpose. Definitely everyone had a purpose, but I had a goal. Edgar mentioned that he did a conversation with the roommate, with the housemate roommate, and they did agree that they would pass the back course at one try. My, I had a similar conversation with my housemate. So I'll definitely say housemate because in Mbara it's very rare to have a roommate. Yeah, I was at the Mbara campus. So there we really had housemates because those were the available accommodation facilities, rental houses. So when they had a conversation with housemate, and that was right in first time. I remember that week, it was a land week, the very first land week. I, I don't want to mention my IA results for that week because but well, for the context for context and purposes of the talk, I will be. I think it was 19%, and he had not done any because it was he had a better mark, but yeah, it was still within not one of those best marks you would say. So I told him, notwithstanding this result, I'm going to be the best student. Oh, I'll be among the best. And at that point, it looked like a joke because actually we laughed about it. But I actually took it within me and said, you know what, I must leave this place with the first class. So that kept me going. That was the bigger purpose. That was the bigger goal. For whatever I did, I looked at how the end would turn out. So from the onset, then I started putting the effort, even when it felt like I should be stopping or kept thinking, well, if you're going to be among the best, then you must do something more than just sitting here, beating up yourself over a result or beating up yourself over prevailing circumstances. And that for me played out because the instances when, for example, doing some of the papers and yeah, I feel like the way this has turned out, I don't think I need to go back tomorrow. But well, you have to go back, put that to the back of your mind and sit in there and do the next exam. Because well, life must move on. So have a goal, have a purpose. It is one thing to say you want to pass, it's one thing to say sorry. Sorry. Um so I admitted myself, I didn't notice that. But yeah, have a goal, have something long term. At the end of the course, what do you want? Right now, the degrees are classified. The diploma is classified. You can choose to set out from the onset and say you want a pass. That's fine. And say you want second lower and work towards that. And say you want an upper. That's fine. Just say you want a first class. And that's also fine. So set your target. But I would think you should aim for the highest and see where you land. So yeah, have a long term target, have a purpose. And the purpose should not be selfish, not say it's all about me. Well, some people, the discussion groups work for them. So should share the purpose with the discussion group. Definitely, everyone, it would be best if everyone in the discussion group passed. So then you motivate each other to make sure that you continue to work towards achieving that goal of having everyone excel in the discussion group. And also, you will study in farms when you get to the center. Again, the goal should be that you help each other as a farm in terms of understanding, appreciating the principles, to ensure that each and every one is able to excel. There is no need to, be selfish. There is always space at the top that is sufficient to accommodate everyone. So it doesn't matter if your whole farm actually scored the first class and you're the best 35, 40, or whatever it is, but try to work. There should be that purpose again for the farm. There are times I had to attend mood preparations after 6, and I kid you not, I attended every discussion, every mood preparation in my farm, right from the first person that was mooting to the last. There was no obligation on me to do that, but for the greater good of everyone in the farm, I felt we needed to work as a farm to get there. So look up something. So even when I didn't feel like actually attending, I would think back and think, okay, probably my addition could be necessary for this particular mood. So go and attend that. Then there are those weekly targets. They should also keep you moving within the week. How quick do you want to write your notes? When do you want to finish them? They look simple and petty for some people, but they actually will keep you moving. For example, if you said you want to be done to have all your workshop one notes by the time you have the first workshop, which is Monday, the only thing that's going to keep you awake on Sunday, beyond probably the time you'd want to sleep, is to beat that, to make sure that tomorrow you're ready for that class and you have the notes. And could as well as much as be a daily target. You look at your learning outcomes and say, at least by the end of today, I should cover this, this, and this. And you work towards that. So that means within the day you are putting up time, irrespective of what's going on in your life, to try and achieve that. Then have a schedule. Have a schedule, stick to your schedule. Definitely sticking to your schedule will motivate you further to ensure that you don't drop off in the course of the heat of things. Because if you undertook that you will be up by 5, stick to that. So then at 5 you'll be up, just prepare for your class or read or write or whatever you wake up to do. But the continuous doing of that should be able to, help you in those instances when you have a burnout, when you think you should probably be sleeping some more. Yeah. Then lastly, you're going to have to work towards achieving whatever you've set. Yeah. And the last thing from me is however much you're talented, and talent should be given context. It is always going to be hard work. Hard work can always beat talent. So put in the hard work. Not everyone puts in the hard work at the center, but your hard work should motivate you to something. Yeah. Thank you. That's it from me.
Thank you, Councillor Derek, for sharing with us. A lesson we may speak from Council is that our goals shall keep us motivated at the back course. We should aim for the best, and the sky is not the limit. And also, he talked about setting targets. I think when one sets a target, this motivates them to actually hit it. And also, talent should be given context. However much you could be talented at note taking, take the notes, will be able to defend your notes when the day to sit the exam comes in. Thank you, Council, for sharing. And I think we may pick a lesson from how you reacted to your failures and how your targets kept you moving. Someone in the chat, that is Muhereza Brian, has shared that you are a government-sponsored student at Makerere. That means we've heard from the best. To those who have just joined us, this is a conversation that was organized by the UCU Law Society. That is from Mukono campus and Kampala campus. Thank you, Mr. Dominic from Kampala campus for organizing this initiative. This conversation is to prepare us for the back course as advocates in the making. We've heard from three panelists so far. We heard from Councillor Edgar. He shared with us about perception. Miss Gloria, a journey through LDC and to LDC. And then Mr. Derek was shared with us on how to stay motivated. If you have any questions, type them in the chat. They'll be addressed during the Q&A. Thank you for all those who are streaming live on YouTube and Facebook. Engage with us, hashtag LDC Talk. Thank you all for being part of the conversation. This is to prepare us as we go to the back course. At this juncture, without further ado, we shall hear from our next panelist, Councillor Alan Mwase. He is a legal and regulatory counsel at MTN Uganda. Mr. Alan passed the back course with a first-class distinction. Now, this should inspire confidence that we're actually hearing from credible people. This was the creme de la creme of the academic year 2019-2020. Mr. Alan is an alumni from Makerere University, class of 2020. Mr. Alan has written a number of articles. You could find these online. And what I can relate with from his articles is a quote from Nelson Mandela that the secret is that after climbing a great hill, one finds many more hills to climb. And we shall learn a lot from him as he shares with us. Councillor Alan is going to share with us about despair. What can one do when he or she is at his lowest? As we've heard from Councillor Derek, the back course is quite challenging. So what can we do best when we are at our lowest? Allow me welcome Mr. Alan. Thank you for joining us. The floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much, Diana. And thanks to Elizabeth for organizing this. I hope I am very loud and clear. Now, to start with, it's a question about your life. You see, the back course could be just one aspect. You go through school and all these things, but at the bottom line, we are talking about life. We're talking about life choices. We're talking about career. We're talking about where you're going. We're talking about legacy. We're talking about a lot of things. So this conversation, whereas it's simply focused on the back course and passing it and all these things, at the back of your mind, I want you to think about your life and what you want to do with your life. And if you want to get anywhere close to the top of anything in your life, that is going to cost you. And the cost is worth paying because you'll get the reward at the end of the journey, or even during the journey. I remember Gloria mentioning that the journey itself is the reward, because in that journey, you have ups and downs. You rise up, you fall down, you get up again, and you move. And if you don't enjoy that process, then you're likely to step out and say, maybe let me try something else, or do something else, or go somewhere else, or hide, or all those things. Now, because it's your life, and because you want to achieve certain things in your life, you won't just get off the slide. You stay focused on the course, and you keep going forward. Now, one of the biggest challenges we had in our year at school was the COVID-19 pandemic. Schools were closed, you were sent back home. Now, while you were sent back home, you had to start, the center prepared us to start learning online, and that was also a different came with its own challenges. But that whole season where you didn't know when you'd get back to school was one season that, I mean, no one enjoyed, because we were stopped while we're doing our oral exams. So we're ready, you know, you're fired up, you've been discussing, you've understood everything in civil litigation, criminal proceedings, etc. And then you're told, go back home. And we don't know when you'll come back, but we also don't know what you will do when you come back. So we don't know whether when you return, you start with the oral exams immediately, or we shall teach you, or, you know, all that. So that period was not a good season for anyone at the back course, because it also made the course longer. Like Derek mentioned, the course was supposed to end in October 2020. We graduated just last week. So any person studying with us at this point, or who studied with us, lost about, or you would feel like you've lost about 6 months of time. But during that time, it was key for one to stay focused. As I started earlier, the question is about life. During that time, you needed to remember that, you know, there's a course you need to finish. That course is demanding, and that course requires a certain level of preparation. So what did I do in that time? Because I was home. You're not working, you're not doing anything, everything is locked down. What do? What I did personally during that time was to remember what my target, my goal. Like Derek mentioned, you make a decision about where you want to be. If you aim for the top, then you can fall somewhere among the stars, and that's why I'm on this conversation here. My aim was not to be among the best. My aim was to be the best, to be the Derek. But Derek beat me to it. But here I am near Derek and near Gloria and near Dawn and all these wonderful people. So during that time when we didn't know what was going to happen and when it would happen, when the center would open, what I did was to remember my goal. And because of that goal, I got back to, reading. I set a timetable for myself. I reviewed several of my notes because I didn't want to get caught unawares by the system or by the institution whenever it called me back to school. But I also didn't want to get rusty. You know, there are people, when you don't keep doing something, it becomes extinct. Or when you don't keep practicing a certain skill, you lose it. So if you didn't practice during that time when we were not at school, definitely by the time we got back to school, you were rusty. Your principles were not on your fingertips. Yeah. So during that time, it was hard. I can't say it was simple. I'm just disciplined and all these things. It was tough, but I figured that, you know, I have to do it. Why should I lose an entire day yet I can fix my accounting notes? Why should I lose an entire day when I can fix my tax practice notes, legal writing notes, and all those things, and put them together? So during that window, I indexed my notes, put indices on the different books, to the extent that by the time when we got back to school, my notes were ready. And later, when we were preparing for exams, I think we had about 2 weeks or something, I and several colleagues of mine, it wasn't like a pressure point, because we had been preparing the entire time for this moment, for these exams that were coming. The interesting thing about students or school is that we always know exams are coming. The funny thing, though, is we wait until the last minute to prepare for them. If you do that at the back course, I can guarantee you're going to fail, because you should prepare literally from day one until that exam is done. And then when your results come, you will actually be glad you were prepared from the beginning. There will be you won't have that pressure of I have an exam and I don't have the principles, I've forgotten, I don't know where my things are in my book. You will know where your things are because you have been preparing. Now, the second challenge that came with with the pandemic was online classes. Now, in those online classes, you had to check personally, because previously you'd go to class, someone checks, the PAs would check whether you have your notes and all those things. Usually they would keep you on your toes quite a bit. Now, with online classes, no one is going to check on your notes. No one is going to check whether you've done your work or not. No one is going to do all that stuff, because they'll only listen to you as you make a submission. There's probably a presentation that no one is really going to check whether Edgar prepared or Derek prepared, but it will be seen or it will be felt as you present during the class. But it called for discipline to go back and make sure that you have those notes written. I changed a bit during that time because previously you had to go to class with your notes in the book. I changed that. I would do my notes soft copy first, go to class with them, get the corrections made, then make time to write them in my book. And that required discipline from everybody. Of course, there were cases where you go to class and you have two people presenting or two people speaking, and some people are thinking, why are these guys maybe better prepared, or why are they the ones talking? Simply because they prepared. So online classes, the disadvantage you have is no one is checking on you, so you can take a holiday. You can take a break and you say, I won't present, I will pretend that my microphone is down, or when I'm asked, I mean, network issues, all those excuses you can make. But you see, those excuses are not affecting the person trying to guide you. They're affecting you. Because you pay the price, you won't be corrected, you won't know where you're lacking, you won't know when you're inadequate, you won't know all those things. Yet if you presented, someone will guide you and correct you, and you remember when you're corrected. In our fourth year, we were taught by a gentleman called Mr. Mpanga, and he told us to attack LDC as a team. In terms of despair, your team is very, very important. I've not had any one of us who has not spoken about a discussion group or anything like that. Not the farm group, not the farm. The farm, a discussion group you choose. You choose who you're going to discuss with. You can say, I won't have Derek in my group, but I'll have Gloria and Edgar and this other person. I don't understand how Derek works. So you choose, and that team is very, very important. Even in that time of not knowing what was going to happen, those are the guys you go to and ask and talk to, and they're the ones you prepare with, inquire from, and engage. So get your team, work with that team, work within that team, and choose a team where you can participate and where people participate, not people who don't go where you teach. I mean, you've not gone there to teach. If you're teaching everybody, then there's a problem, because you won't be corrected, you won't be guided when you're making mistakes. You think you know it all. Yet if you're in a discussion or a group of people who are also working hard, then you'll have very healthy debate, meaningful debate. Everybody is bringing something to the table. I can tell you that we had a group and I was responsible for removing people who are not up to the task. And I can tell you I removed them because we had targets, we had shared those targets together, we had a common vision, a common goal. And if you are not going to participate in bringing this goal to life, we didn't need you. And that's the reality of life. And that's where I started from, and that's where I will be closing. It's your life. You're right now a student at the Center of Excellence, right? And you'll be getting to LDC very soon. I pray that you all will make it. But it's your life. You need to choose where you want to be, how you want to be remembered. Do you want to be one of those guys who just passed pass through the course, or do you want to be one who, along the way, touch different lives in different ways, doing different things, giving your all, knowing that, everybody knowing that, you know, if you need something done, I think you need to work with Dawn. Don't work with anyone else. Go to Dawn, you will sort this out. So as I close, it is your life. You can choose. Yes, LDC is just one of those places you'll go to, you'll be pushed. Gloria shared about the journey, it's a crazy journey. But you choosing what kind of life you want to lead. And I pray that you choose to lead that life that glorifies God through excellence. Thank you very much. Diana disappeared, so I don't know who is going to moderate now.
It's okay, Mr. Alan Mwase. I can take over. She experienced a glitch. Yes, she's trying to get back on. So I think she'll along the way. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Mwase, for that. It has been really insightful. Yes, there's power in teamwork. And so we need to really establish the right discussion groups and above all, live lives that glorify God even while at LDC. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to take this opportunity to, yes, I think Diana is back. She's just trying to connect to her audio. Diana, can you hear me? Diana?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yes, Mr. Mwase has just concluded, so you can now take over and invite the next panelist.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that. I experienced a network glitch and I was off for some minutes. However, I'm back. Thank you, Mr. Alan, for sharing with us. I've missed quite a lot, but I hope to get that from the chat. However, I would like to thank Citadel Advocates for enabling that we have this conversation. Thank you, Isiolo Society, and thank you all for joining us today. We are having a conversation, how I made it through the back course, and this conversation is being shared by those who made it to the best from LDC. At this juncture, I would like to invite the next panelist, who is Mr. Martin Gidogo. He is an alumni from KIU, and he has contributed to the academic achievements of KIU. Mr. Martin topped the list of the best performers at LDC, that is the academic year 2019-2020. Thank you, Mr. Martin, and I would invite you to share with us.
Excuse me. Well, thank you. I'm humbled to be sharing with you this evening. As already stated, I was tasked to deal with how one can overcome tough times or despair at the Law Development Center. Well, to start with, personally, there were a number of challenges or tough times that whereas I was at the Law Development Center, I encountered them. These tough times are similar and they are common to every student at the bar course. One of them is dealing with a complexity of laws by a complexity of laws, you have so much to cover within the 9-month period. And then secondly, I personally, I had difficulties in writing notes. That is very common. The assignments or workshops come by Thursday or Friday, and by Monday, you should be ready for the first workshop, or that's for the first class, weekly class. The third one, which is not really difficult to understand, is that I failed 2 IAs in the first term. I was completely off track, the land IA and then the corporate and commercial IA, particularly on companies. I was off track completely. These are challenges which are common to every student at the bar course. Then the question is, how do you deal with those challenges? Or I personally, how did I deal with them? The first one is, as I mentioned, is dealing with a complexity of laws, a plethora of laws, so many that at undergrad you actually did not have time to canvass. The second one was, of course, difficulty in writing notes. At LDC, you will hear people saying you must write notes, you must write notes. Notes is the song. But as I move on, I will give you my views on how I overcame or managed these tough times, or what we call despair, as I was tasked. Now, first and foremost, despair basically means having no hope or being without hope. Now, how did I overcome these challenges? It appears all the panelists have certain key factors in common, and some of the things I will be talking about have already been ably put by the discussants before me. The first one, how did I deal with the challenge of difficulty or the complexity of dealing with a multitude of laws? The first one is always to derive lessons as well as learning from mistakes. One of the greatest legal minds, that is Albert, not greatest legal minds, but one of the brightest fellows the world has ever had, is Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein has a quote to the effect that learn from yesterday, live for today, and hope for tomorrow. Now, that said, I had to learn. How? How do I deal with a complexity of laws? And secondly, how do I overcome the trauma in failing the IAs? Like as I said, the first time IAs are peer marked or peer reviewed, I was marked and I had 10 in land, and then in corporate, we were supposed to incorporate a trust. I went in for an NGO. I also had 5%. That's out of 100. But that doesn't mean you should be in your comfort zone. There is something to learn from that. Nobody at the Law Development Center, or just like any other education How do you deal with the first challenges? The one of difficulty in writing notes as well as the failure, which is not really hard to understand. It is common to every student. Derek had already stated that you have to set a goal. But for me, I would say, I would simply say the same thing, but mine would be working smart. How do you work smart? You need to set goals, not actually a goal, but goals. Setting smart goals. The first S stands for specific. First S stands for specific. M stands for measurable. S stands for achievable. R stands for realistic. Then T stands for time bound or time limitation. Now the question is, how do you deal with smart goals? Specific. Under specificity, you'd want to set a target for yourself. Do you want to just pass? Do you want to excel? Or do you want to be among the best? In the first place, mine was to pass. I didn't care whether I would be the best or whether I would be among the best. Much as my history has always been to do well, or at least be closer to the best. So, in being specific, what I had to do was to read every rule. In the rules for passing the bar course, I understood and I came to notice that actually the grading system is favorable. One can achieve even a first class or even a 5.0, depending on your effort. For me, my effort was to pass. My strategy was in every IA, at least I should get 50. Then orals, at least I should get a 20. Then in final term exams, at least I should get 30 over 50. And that means I would pass. Then measurable. Measurable, you have to look at your effort. How much effort are you putting in? You need a 5.0, but do you deserve it? You need a 4.9. Can you really achieve it? You need a 4.6. Can you get it? Then, the effort determines a lot. If I may borrow Derek's word, that relates to hard work. So the more effort you put in, obviously the best of results will come into your favor. Sometimes it's not about luck, no. Much as luck may be a factor, but the primary consideration is your effort, is the hard work. Then time bound. We have only 9 months, but for our case, COVID helped us. Those who had not written notes, those who had challenges with reading, had to come back on the drawing board. I was able to get what I wanted. I wanted to pass. So through my efforts, maybe I came closer to being among the best. That is working smart. Set a goal which is smart. Is it specific? What is your target? Can you achieve it? Are you being realistic with yourself? And the time you have is very, very crucial. That time is never enough. If you were to divide, we do about 13 subjects in total. But if you were to look at the coverage or the course content in the 13 subjects, what you'd call course units at undergrad, the task is huge, and you divide by the 9 months, you find that really you do not have time. Then, my colleagues have emphasized on writing notes. For me, my opinion was to read more than writing notes, because basically, I can't write what I do not understand. I actually had difficulties in writing notes. Why? You find the work is too much. So a solution to that is to do more of the reading than writing notes. That's the method for me I chose. And then, again, how do you deal with still the tough times, or basically the challenges? Is to have hope and pray. One of the remarkable motivational speakers, that is Martin Luther King Jr., the leader of the American Civil Rights Movement, is quoted to have said that we must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. When you're hopeful and you believe, like Edgar stated, you can always achieve. Hope for the best and you'll always attain. If you don't get the best, you'll get something closer in that manner. And then prayer is also key. Me as a Christian, I tend to have faith in the Lord. And I'm fortified by Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. The scripture says, "But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They will run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint." Similarly, in Jeremiah chapter 29, verse 11, the scripture reads, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." So sometimes when you give time to the scriptures, maybe God can reward you somewhere, somehow. At the center, to my knowledge and understanding, the majority of us pray, but the prayer has to be added with effort. Of course, the effort will also be supported or buttressed by luck. Really, to make it, a number of factors are taken into account. And then basically, for me, those are the ways in which I managed to achieve my goal, my SMART goal. I set a goal which was SMART, and through the strategies I used, I was able to attain the same. Of course, colleagues have for notes, I had notes, but sketchy notes. For me, I had notes, but sketchy. But whenever I was required to present in class, I would rise to the occasion, because what you have in your book will, of course, be derived from your medulla oblongata. That's the brain. So for me, I had notes, but really not so helpful. Even if I could give somebody my notes, they can't help much. But as Derek said, you have to understand yourself and set a goal for yourself. It's only you who can understand yourself better. I would want to conclude by saying that by working smart, having courage and hope, praying and learning from your mistakes, while at the Law Development Center, you'll be able to make it. You'll be able to make it and make it. That said, I want to thank all the panelists for having spared their precious time to be part of this noble cause and to enlighten our comrades in the struggle. This is academic struggle, not the other way around. I thank you all.
Thank you, Council Gidogo Martin, for sharing with us. I also want to thank all of us who have joined in to listen to this conversation. I would like to backtrack a bit and thank Mr. Alan Mwase for sharing. From his conversation, I think we learned that belief is motivation. If we believe and work towards bringing our beliefs to light, that is motivation enough for us to go through the bar course. Thank you, Council Martin. And thank you, Council Alan, rather. And then we've heard from Council Martin, who is an alumnus from KIU, and he has contributed to the fledgling achievements of the KIU Academia. From Council Martin, we've learned that we should derive lessons from our mistakes. We should always work smart while pursuing the degree and also at the bar course. We should always be people of courage and hopeful. Prayer is paramount. Our spiritual life can see us through the bar course and also learn from our mistakes. Council Martin has also shared that while at the bar course, we have limited time, roughly 9 months. This is not enough time, but if we go back to what Miss Gloria shared, how we prepare for that journey can make us successful at the end of the course. So the journey is the reward. We should prepare for this adequately. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Citadel Advocates. Thank you, CU Law Society. Thank you all those who are joining us live on YouTube and Facebook. Continue the conversation on Twitter with the hashtag LDC Talk. Thank you for the chats. Keep them coming. For any questions, type them in the chat. We shall have a Q&A where the panelists shall answer them. Someone says in the chat, what Council Alan Mwase, belief is motivation. Thank you, Paul Mugarura, for that. At this juncture, I would like to invite our panelists, Donald Munanura, a council. And now Mr. Donald Munanura was the 4th overall best at the bar course, which qualified him for the Uganda Law Society Prize. Council Donald is an alumnus of UCU. We are glad to hear from you. The floor is yours, Council Donald.
Thank you very much, Diana. I would like to confirm that I'm being heard.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you very much. So my name is Munanura Donald. And yes, I finished my LLB in 2019 from UCU, and I later on joined LDC. So today, I'm very glad that I've been invited to attend this conversation and share my thoughts about our journeys at LDC. I would love to also congratulate my colleagues who are panelists who made it and who are here with us today from Makelele and also from KIU. Thank you very much. So today I've been tasked to address us on the lessons that I learned along my journey at the Barcos, and also what lessons I carry onto the future. And I would love to tackle these questions concurrently, yeah, because they're all lessons. So many there are so many challenges that we face at the Law Development Center, but one of my biggest was intimidation. Yeah, we are intimidated about how hard the course is from day one of orientation. Yeah, and for those who attended the orientation with me can bear be witness. The likes of Mutaviengo will come and keep scaring you that it's a very hard thing. It's a very hard place to be. So you have to know your goals, you have to be strategic, you have to plan on how you're actually going to beat the system. And so for me, my first lesson was actually how I'm going to beat this intimidation, and that was being strategic and have a plan on how I'm going to leave the center. So my first lesson, the strategy and planning. For most people, they do say that LDC or passing LDC is more of luck, but believe me or not, there cannot be luck without preparation. You have to prepare, and then you'll be lucky, or pray to actually be lucky. So that's the questions you ask, you're prepared for them, and you can be able to answer them appropriately. So in my submission here, or my presentation of strategy is, I would love to tell you guys that as any other course, the back course is, every paper is out of 100, yeah? So you have to know how this 100% comes about, yeah? That is, you have to know that the IAs that you're going to be doing from second term, they are going to cover 20%, yeah? The oral examinations, which are also in second term, they do cover 30%. And then your final exam will be out of 50%. So once you're very strategic, every week you're going to be doing IAs, which will carry 5 marks. It will total up to 20% at the end of the day. And then your orals are out of 30. By the time you do your exam, if you're being good, if you maximize your IAs, if you maximize your orals, you will have made some good marks already. Let us say 35 out of 50, or even 40. It's very possible. Trust me, if you do that, you put one step, 1 foot out of LDC. Believe me or not, because out of 50 in the exam, I don't think you're going to fail to get 20. Well, it's possible you can fail to get it, but you're increasing your chances. So many people here in the chat have been asking how we were able to get 19%. That was first term, yeah, because first term the IAs we do peer marking, yeah, they're not considered, they just show you what they expect. You do the paper, then they give you corrections. So you see how they are approaching this question. You see how they are raising their issues. You see how they want their law applicable. All that you learn at undergrad, it does apply at the center. Yeah, but there is some soup, some spices that they add that you need to master around and make sure that you apply in your final exams and in your IAs. So with this strategy, when I learned that when you become strategic, when you actually have a good planning, of course with the other things that they have told you here and there, that is discussions and all that, of course personal reading, all those are very, 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 very key. So I believe that if you have that strategy that I've laid down for you, you are able to actually, one, make it in life in the future, because there's nothing that you can do without being prepared for. You have to plan for it and be strategic and ensure that actually you flourish. Even as an advocate, you have to in the nearby future, you have to take these lessons to the future and make it. The second lesson, majorly, it was to me that I learned was time management. Time management is very, 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 very key. Now, one of my mentors at undergrad used to tell me that we all have 24 hours in a day. No one has more than the other. We all have 24 hours. And at LDC, it seems like there's not enough time, but it's still the 24 hours. So how you manage these 24 hours of your time is very, very, very key. Yeah, you have a lot of work because between all the weekly workshops, Saturday discussions, you have to write notes, which is a lot over the weekend. Then you have to, prepare for notes, maybe with the council for the week. You have category B subjects, you have taxation, accounting there. It's also demanding. You have management here demanding. There are other things, trial advocacy. You have orals to study for the final exams. As a student, you actually get overwhelmed. But once you know how to budget your time, yes, you're going to have to, try to play around with all these, a lot of things that you have, but fix them in your 24 hours. You have to rest, you have to, eat, you have to do so many other things. So may I believe that the trick is to identify what works for you. It could be reading overnight during the day, having discussions, personal reading, like Gidong told us that he actually, he preferred reading to having notes. Some prefer having the notes other than personal reading. So it's all about finding what actually works for you. If you identify it, yeah, if you identify the efforts, yeah, that are generating the most results, yeah, you have to focus on them, yeah, in order to maximize the time and performance. Yeah, so I do implore or advise all of us, or the students that are coming to the back course next year, or who are enrolling after this intake is there, to choose quality over quantity. I personally believe that it's not about the hours that you put in, but rather the quality of the work that you get done within the time that you specify. Because the human brain actually gets tired. You cannot read for 6 hours at once. It's very impossible. You have to know that if you give it like 2 hours, you say I'm going to now read and cover this, and then maybe here I'm going to go for a discussion after this. Just make sure you have a quality time with your book, rather than saying that I'm now going to read for 8 hours. Impossible. You're not going to be able to understand all these things. You lose concentration. So yes, my advice, or what I learned from LDC is, manage your time beautifully, then you'll be able to succeed. Trust me. The third lesson that I want to share with every one of us here is that it's not about being perfect, but it's about doing your best. What do I mean? It's one thing to do your best, yeah, but it's also another to try and make everything perfect because you have the confidence in yourself, or you are not confident about your ability to succeed. Yeah, someone used to tell me that perfection kills productivity. Well, what do I mean? Is that at its core, perfection is a form of, procrastination, because you are scared. Yeah, you are scared of something, and that something is failure. Once you want to become so perfect at everything, then you're worried. You're worried. Am I good here? Yeah. How are other people thinking about me? Yeah. You're always worried about not being, good enough. That is maybe in class discussions, presentations. I always believe that you just have to do your best, give it your best shot, get it done, and put yourself out there. Yeah. If you're criticized, so what? You don't have to. You don't have to. You won't be beaten. You won't die. So the goal is to learn. Yeah. You probably be able to get some valuable feedback that will help you to do better next time. So I would want to share with you that I learned that you don't have to be perfect at it. You just have to give it your best shot. Then believe me or not, everything will work out for you. The other, my fourth lesson that I wanted to share with all of you is the lesson of being able to adapt. Adaptability. once you're not able to adapt to situations that come to you, then you're doomed to failure. Because have you ever heard of a saying that give a man fish, and you feed him for one day, but teach a man how to fish and you feed him for an entire lifetime? Now, to me, I believe that to succeed at LDC, you need to adapt and learn what they want, how they expect you to raise issues, how to approach the problem questions in the exams. You all learn this in the first term, because those individual assessments they're not assessed. You have that first term to actually try and explore, try and raise this issue, try and see that if I raise this issue and I approach it this way, we will actually get marks. Those IAs, I don't think you have to take them for granted, and most people in our area maybe took them for granted. I personally also maybe I would love to share that I failed most of those IAs because you don't know what they want, but that's the time for you to actually learn. The best student, my brother Derek told us that in some exam he got, was it 19%? Those were the marks we used to get. If I got 5%, you don't go told you. Sitting for an IA and you get 5%, when they give you the corrections, you actually see that you're actually doomed to failure. That's more intimidation. You're seeing that, wow, will I actually make it at the end of the day? But I believe that it is not the strongest of species, nor the most intelligent that survive, but the one who is most responsive to change. Because at law school, that is maybe at UCU, Makerere, it's just like at that law school, it's the same as LDC. They will teach you how to, they will not teach you how to do what, to memorize every single law, but they will teach you where to find that information and how to synthesize it and how to apply it, in the exam. Because at LDC, things are not straightforward. They will try to twist things in the exam, so you'll have to try and think outside the box. You just have to trust your instinct, because where we even sit for the exams, your neighbor might actually whisper to you that this is the answer. He will tell you that it's actually an appeal. But for you, thinking that maybe is it revision or is it an appeal? If your instinct tell you that I have to go for an appeal, go for it. Go for it. Just don't, have to trust your instincts and you're good. So also the thing of adaptability, the lesson that I wanted to share with you, that we also had to adapt to the online study. Alan Mwase shared with us, the challenges that we had with the online studying on, Zoom. And actually, recently, my boss here where I work sarcastically told me that you cannot teach a practical course like ours online. I don't know if he was right, but come to think of it, you have to be trained moods where they have to, assess your demeanor, assess how how you speak, and you're doing this online where maybe you're just putting on a coat without even putting on a trouser. So you have accounting to study, you have taxation here, and this is a course that has math, that has mathematics, some calculations, and you're teaching it online. Well, we tried for us. I think we adapted to it, and we managed to actually excel. So, as a country, we are in a difficult time, and also the world at large. So you have to be able to adapt to it. So that was lesson number 4. You have to be able to adapt to anything. LDC can do anything. They will impose those rules that they put in, those rules of passing the backwards, and you'll have to, adapt to them. My 5th lesson that I wanted to share with you is not to forget the big picture. Do not forget the big picture. That is what I learned at LDC. Now, many students at LDC do say that, you have to sacrifice the entire year in your books and nothing else. At the end of the day, you get to realize that you will have a life to live. Which is the big picture. You have to, socialize. You have to make friends here and there, because these are your future partners in law firms. These are future people that are going to give you clients. So you just cannot go at LDC and sit down in your room and try to read. Well, you have to read, but spare some time off. Try to make friends, socialize, because at the end of the day, the people who are going to get you productive placement. People are well connected. Yeah, these are people who here is going to call you and tell you, hey Donald, what's up? I have this agreement, please draft it for me. And that's how you're going to make some small money. You have to earn a life. Whereas you have to study, I think you also have to go there, socialize with your farm mates, make friends with them. Yeah. So I do not just buy that notion of reading all the time. You have to read, I know, but you also have to live your life. Yeah. This that thing of reading each and every time, I really wouldn't. I don't want to ill advise you guys, but you have to read, yes, but that's not the end of that's not the end of it, because you have to socialize. Yeah, the other lesson, and I think this is my last one that I learned, was that you have to be flexible. You have to learn how to be flexible at LDC and the world at large. Wherever you go, you have to be flexible. I think this is almost the same as being able to adapt to changing situations. But it's hard to have everything in the book, yeah, because you're going to make notes here, but you will not write everything in that book. The documents are so many that you have to draft. Those are plain simon notes of motion here, originating summons. It's too much. It's too much. Trust me, you will not have everything. So where does the point of flexibility come in? At times you just have to ensure that you know the basics, yeah, the format of some documents. I remember we did an IA which required originating summons to foreclose a mortgage. My friends will, I don't know if they remember here, my colleagues, that IA of mortgages, it was a very, very hard one. So many people had different answers here and there. But once you know how an originating summons looks like, yeah, you can play around the ideas that you actually have. Let me not go for originating summons. Let me use notes of motion. You have to know how it is actually structured. Then you are able to answer or draft that document. You can draft it offhand if you have the facts. Yeah. So you have to be able to be flexible. You have to be able to be imaginative. Yeah. To go around some of these situations. Another example that I just remembered right now is in the corporate examination that we did. Yeah. That number of, we had a number on PPDA. Yeah. And they required us to draft a document, which was a letter to the accounting officer. Now, trust me, believe me or not, I think 90% of us, or even more, did not have this letter in our books. But this is just a letter, yeah? What does the examiner, what is he looking for? He's actually looking, and he knows that you do not have this particular document in your book. It's hard because we did not cover that in class. But it is just a letter to complain to the accounting officer. As a law student, you have to be ready to have this situation every now and then where you have to get some of these things off head. Yeah, you have to imagine what am I going to complain about? What are the grounds? What exactly do I want the accounting officer to do for me? Yeah. So my advice for what I learned is that to go through this, you have to be flexible enough, and trust me, you will make it. You will make it. I realize it's 6 already, so I didn't want to, over delve in so many different things, but I wish you guys all the best. I actually think the course is very, very, very passable. It's very passable, but it's also very easy to fail. It's very, very easy to fail. So I implore you guys to, ensure that you pass your individual assessment orals, and believe me or not, the exam will be a walk over for you. I think that was my trick or my plan, and trust me, it worked. Otherwise, I would love to wish you guys all the best, and thank you guys for the invite. Yeah. Yeah, back to you, Diana. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Donald, for sharing with us. Donald happened to be the 4th overall best student at the back course. Thank you for the lessons. I think going forward, we should be adaptable people, meaning we have to be flexible. We should be strategic and plan our journey at the back course. We need to be timekeeping. We need to, yeah. And that way we shall make it through the back course. Thank you, Donald, for sharing. Thank you to all our panelists for sharing. In our next session, we are going to have a Q&A, but given the limited time, we are going to take 3 questions. Our first question shall be directed to Mr. Edgar. The second shall be taken by Mr. Alan. And the 4th question shall be taken by Mr. Martin. And since we've spent most of our time, the panelists shall answer a question and also give a concluding remark. Yes, thank you, Law Society, for organizing this conversation. Thank you, Citadel Advocates. Thank you to all our audience that is both on Facebook and YouTube. Engage with us, #LDC Talk. Now, the first question, which is going to Mr. Edgar Erazibwe, is it okay to study the back course in another country? Mr. Edgar, I request you to unmute. Kindly answer the question and give us a concluding remark.
Thank you so much, Diana. I thought I had answered that in the chat, but I authorize you to share my number with the person asking the question. There is an entire discussion, but just to refer to Section 13 of the Advocates Act, as well as the Advocates Enrollment and Certification Regulations, statutory number 13. They guide, but there is an entire discussion because that particular country must be a Commonwealth country. It must be recognized by the Law Council. Last year we had a ruling by Justice Esther Mbayo, ruling that students from the back coast of Rwanda cannot get enrolled in Uganda because the country was not listed by the Law Council under the Advocates Enrollment and Certification Regulations. So there is an entire discussion on that. However, you can do your back course in a Commonwealth country, UK. You can do your back course from Kenya and get enrolled in Uganda. So there is an entire discussion on that, and I am happy to have that discussion with the person asking the question. So there is an entire discussion on that. My last advice would be to thank UC Law Society and Citadel Advocates for fostering these conversations and also giving us an opportunity to give hope to our land brothers and sisters. This is a journey, as my sister said, and so we can journey it together, and we are always here to assist. I also authorize the president to share my number with everyone so that in case you want to reach out, you can always text or call, and we are here to assist because, as said, we have been where you are and we have equally been assisted, and so we are duty bound to equally assist you as you transit or as you make this journey. But from me, it is an absolute honor. I'm very honored to have been a panelist on this very important platform, and from me it is thank you. Nice evening.
Thank you, Councillor Edgar. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate the time you've spent with us. Now the question that was directed to panelist Alan has been forwarded to Miss Gloria. Why I didn't think she would, why I had not assigned her a question, it's because she answered so many questions in the chat. However, Miss Gloria, question to you is that, is it feasible to study while working? The floor is
Well,
yours.
thank you so much. Thank you so much, Diana. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, thank you so much, Diana. Thank you, Uganda Christian Law Society, for the initiative. Thank you for this. And the answer to the question or response to that is that it's actually possible. You can study and work. You can study at the back course while working, but I would not advise that one studies the back course while working, because it needs, like I told you, one of the ways to prepare for the journey is that you need to give it full attention. So somehow, unconsciously, while you're working, you may not be in position to give your best. You may not your best as such. You may not be in position to give 100% of your time in there or the effort. So I advise that you actually pause or ask for study leave and handle LDC, so you are in a position to fully concentrate on it. Thank you so much, Diana, for coordinating. Thank you to the panelists. Thank you to Uganda Christian Law Society. Thank you so much for this opportunity and initiative. Thank you for attending, and we are here to help. Thank you. Back to Diana.
Oh, thank you, Council. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing. The next question will go to Council Martin. How does one deal with mental health while at the back course, and is it necessary to write notes? So we shall have the response and a concluding remark from you, Council. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Diana. In respect to mental health, you cannot really concentrate when you are in a poor state of health, but mentally, you have to stay alert. You have to relax a bit. Like Donald said, you should a bit socialize. It's not that you should use the 24 hours reading every other, because then that would affect your brain. Again, on mental health, you can always go for if you have a mental problem, checkup is key. You can visit the medics. Then the second question of notes, yeah, it's a requirement that whenever, for every class, what matters is that you must be ready for every class. Now, writing notes is part of being ready or preparing for the class. But my advice would be, do not spend the entire time writing on the notes without actually understanding what you are writing. Out of experience, there are colleagues who have work in their books, but they can't defend the same work they have. So, plan and be strategic. Write your notes with a strategy. Write what you think can make you achieve the goal you need. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councillor Donald. Thank you, thank you. Someone, Abraham, had a question in the chat, but I hope Councillor Donald has answered that to the best. So at this juncture, I'll invite Councillor Alan Mwasi to kindly give us a concluding remark.
What I can conclude with is there's a lot, something that Derek talked about. There's a lot of room at the top, and we're in a country where I think a lot of most of the time there's a lot of settlement for middle ground and just being around and getting by. So I'd encourage all those who have been here today to stretch, just stretch a little bit, aim higher than what is usually acceptable, and you will make it. Everyone here passed the bar course, in fact excelled at the bar course, and I believe you too can. You just need to be focused, and you will make it. Thank you very much, Diana and Elizabeth, and the UCU Law Society for organizing this. Thank you.
Thank you, Council, for the remark. At this juncture, I would like to invite Council Donald Munanura to give us a concluding remark. Council, we are waiting to hear from you.
Yes, Diana, thank you so much. I was answering a question to Abraham. Abraham asked a question in the chat group where he was asking that should one till relationships at LDC. Well, I don't know. I think you've heard about rumors where people say that you have to, till your relationships. But I believe that you do not have to, dump your girlfriend or put your relationship on hold. Yes, your girlfriend should understand that the level of education and the level of attention that LDC needs you to have. So I don't think there's reason for you to, quit the relationship. That might be your future wife that you want to, dump. So yeah, but that aside, I would love to conclude by thanking the Law Society for inviting all of us, and I hope all of you have benefited to the submissions of everyone that submitted the presentation. Yeah, thank you so much. We shall wait for the next invite, and we hope we shall be hopeful.
Thank you, Council Donald. Thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing. We appreciate the time you have spent with us. I would also invite Council Derek to give us a concluding remark.
Thank you, Diana. Hope I'm audible. And I'll start from what Diana said. You don't have to put an end to your social life, including a relationship. I need to emphasize that. But just make sure that people do understand and make sure it doesn't get within your way. It's that simple, really. So to those joining the center for the back course and those are probably joining in a year 2 or 3 from now, you're different. I've talked to people and they've asked me, why should I continue to study the bar? Probably also the question on, should I study the bar course in another country, is premised on probably the perceptions, rumors, perhaps realities that they have heard about LDC, or seen or experienced. Whatever it is, you're different. So, and this is a task you can take on. Just go in there, do your thing, and things will work out. You can't say because the performance this year is this, I need to move to another country. You can't run away from a challenge. So if it's a challenge, then face it. Just prepare adequately. And for those that do, or those that are believers, trust that you'll do your part and let God take the wheel. For those that are not, still whatever you believe in, have faith in yourself. It starts with you. However, it doesn't matter how many talks you'll attend, how many people talk to you. If you don't believe in yourself, it starts with that self-motivation that actually you can do this thing, you can get out of that place within one sitting, and you can excel. So I wish each of you the best of luck when their time comes. And also congratulations to the panelists. Also to the president for the invitation, and to Diana, the host, Citadel, for making this a possibility. And to everyone that has been able to join, thank you. Have a good evening. Back to you, Diana.
Oh, thank you, Councillor Derek. Thank you very much. You actually have a congratulatory message from the chat. Congs Derek, 4.6, the bar was too high. Someone again congratulates Mr. Mwase, Edgar, and Miss Wanyenze for excelling. At this juncture, I would like to thank Citadel Advocates for making this conversation a success. How I made it through the bar course. Thank you to the UCU Law Society for organizing this. Both Mukono and Kampala campus. Thank you, Mr. Dominic from Kampala campus. Thank you to those who have joined us for this conversation, those streaming in on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you to our audience. We hope that, I believe we are all better people and ready for the bar course when the time comes. Thanks to the plausible information from our panelists today. At this juncture, I would like to welcome Madam President, UCU Law Society, Tumwebazeke Elizabeth. You are welcome, Madam President. Thank you for the initiative, and the floor is yours.
Wow. Thank you so much, Diana. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay, thank you so much. Wow, thank you, Madam Moderator. You have done such a great job. Thank you so much on behalf of the Cabinet. We really extend our gratitude. You have taken us through this session amicably. Many thanks to our panelists. Thank you so much, Mr. Edgar. Thank you, Miss Gloria. Thank you, Mr. Derek, Mr. Martin, Mr. Alan. Thank you so much, Mr. Don. Thank you so much for taking your time to pour into our lamps. And trust me, whatever you have said has really landed on fertile ground and it shall not be put to waste. Special thanks, as already elaborated, to Citadel Advocates led by Council Bernardo Wundo for really having our back in all of this. Thank you to all our colleagues from other law schools who have joined us. I saw the president of the Law Society from Kumba University. I saw Grace, the president of the Law Society from Makerere. And also I saw some colleagues from Gulu University. Thank you so much for joining us as we had this conversation. And special thanks to my cabinet for pulling this through. And wow, we have really done a great job. Thank you, my Vice President, for really being a good support system. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, Madam General Secretary. She was ill, but she really tried her best. Special thanks to my Finance Secretary, Norman Ochora. He has been behind all of this. He's a technician and he has really done such a good job. Oh God, I don't know how to thank the publicity team. Wow, led by Annelise and Maria Dagudi. Thank you so much for taking us through this entire time. All the noise on Twitter, on Facebook, on WhatsApp has been because of them. Thank you so much. And to everyone else who is part of the team, we love you so much. And just a little highlight is we are going to have more of these online conversations and we are going to term them as the Eminent Speaker Series. Now, we had envisioned to have this every last Friday of every month. And so next Friday is the last Friday of every month. So we'll have a speaker. But because our colleagues had just graduated from LDC, we felt that this would be a topic that many people would want to share in. So that's why we pushed this for now. And I'm sure we have all benefited from this. So next Friday, being the last Friday of the month, we shall now have our first Eminent Speaker Series. And we shall be hosting Dr. Daniel Ruhweza. He's going to be talking about a very, very, very interesting topic as well. So please, you're welcome to join us same time next Friday. But otherwise, I just wish to thank all of you for coming. Thank you for the patience. And we hope to do more of this. And I hope that we can be able to finally achieve all the different dreams that we have and, make it in life as well. But special thanks to all of you and may God bless you. I think I will do the closing prayer and then we can close and leave at leisure. So let us pray. Lord Jesus, we thank you so much for today. We thank you that you have made today such a success. And I pray that you'll help us, oh God, to put in our all, even while still at law school. I pray that even when we make it to the back horse, that Lord, we shall still put in our all. I pray that we shall not be anxious about anything. I pray that your perception of who we are is what will drive us through life, even after the back horse. I thank you because in you we have victory. In you we have assurance that we shall excel. And I pray that, Lord, we shall excel in whatever we do. For whoever took their time to be part of this call, may you bless them, O God. Bless them in all that they do. Bless our panelists. Bless Citadel advocates. Bless each and everyone who has taken time to be here. And Lord, may you continue to guide us, continue to protect us, O God, even during such unprecedented times. In Jesus' name I have prayed. Amen. Thank you so much for attending the call. May God bless you and have a great, great, great weekend. We hope to meet you next Friday for the Eminent Speaker Series. Thank you so much.